now.
Yep, we are recording. Welcome everyone to episode 3
Four?
of The Boiling Point. Episode 4 of The Boiling Point. That's what I said.
Don't even know your own episode. What is wrong with you?
There's a lot going on. I'm trying to get music. I'm trying to get theme music, entrance music and stuff. We're trying to get it together here. We're here at episode 4, and we're back with Kurtis Onesky, of course. And Kurtis, I just have one question for you.
What's that?
Are you aware of the Marvel Initiative?
Of the Marvel Initiative.
Yes, that is what today's episode is entitled.
Excellent.
The Marvel Initiative.
Interesting.
We're going to talk about Marvel. And do you have a favorite movie of the series?
I mean, I don't know about a favorite movie of the series, but I think we have to at least start out with the biggest news that just came out today.
Oh, sure. You want to start with that?
Yeah,
first?
I have to start.
Let
me start with the biggest news today because I know you're not even aware of this. Marvel Disney announced today that Shuri will be taking over the role of Black Panther as she does in the comic books.
That's Black Panther's sister?
Yes, they will be. They will not be recasting T'Challa in honor of Chadwick Boseman. May he rest in peace. Wakanda forever. They will not be recasting T'Challa. In the comic books, T'Challa gets messed up very badly. He loses a very important fight and a lot of his people die. And he goes off and pretty much puts himself into exile, and Shuri takes over as not only as Queen of Wakanda, but also as the Black Panther. So they're going to follow along in the storyline of the comic books with that. They are not going to be recasting T'Challa, which I think is just absolutely the right decision.
Yes, I don't think decision. It was very terrible. I mean, the fact that nobody knew except some of the executives within Marvel. Not
even really any Kevin Feige didn't know.
The story I read is that there was 2 or 3 people that Chadwick Boseman told so that they knew that eventually he wasn't going to be able to be Black Panther.
I mean, I read that they were ready to film Black Panther 2, that it was all expectations that he was going to be doing it. I mean, to think that he gave us...
I think that he was supposed to do Black Panther 2, but
it progressed so rapidly.
Yes, I think that was the intention, and that it just progressed, and then he wasn't able to. But I do believe that at least Kevin Feige did know he was sick, or at least some of the executives did. The story I saw was that some executives did know that he was sick, so that way they weren't blindsided, because he didn't tell anybody. Nobody knew.
It just absolutely blows me away that he gave us 42, he gave us Winter Soldier, Avenger. I mean, he gave us all of his Marvel, and he was fighting that this entire time.
He was like you were saying, he was Jackie Robinson in 42.
Tight suit. Apparently, the suit, the Black Panther suit, was skin tight. He only complained about the one in Avengers, in the actual Avengers Endgame movie there. His quick cameo there. It was a little bit of a different suit. That's the only one he ever complained about being too tight. And, I mean, imagine how much that... I mean, because bowel cancer, that shit hurts.
Yeah.
That is unpleasant. And the fact that he went through all of that and gave us these great movies while fighting that is just...
Yeah, his performances.
I mean, it's the ultimate testament to his legacy and to his sheer just badassery. I can't think of a better word for it. Like, the man was absolutely iconic in those roles, and then to now hear what he was going through now that he's gone and it's all coming out, it just adds a whole nother level to it. So
I'm going to look up these movies right quick, but let's talk about some of his movies, because I'm aware of some of them. He was Jackie Robinson in 42.
And then the Avengers stuff is mainly the only 2 that I know from him. I know he has a couple of other flicks in there, but I can't think of any at the top of them.
Being Jackie Robinson in 42, that's a role. I mean, that's a role. Now, I didn't get a chance to see that one yet.
Yeah, it was really good. I caught it when it was on HBO. I'm not the biggest baseball fan, but I knew the story of Jackie Robinson, so I wanted to watch the movie. And he owns the hell out of that movie. That's the first time I've ever seen him. I mean, that's the most people who didn't, meet him as Black Panther know him from 42.
Yes. He was also in Draft Day.
Oh, yes. I suppose he was, wasn't he?
He was the one, what was he? Running back or wide receiver. I can't remember what position he played, but he played somebody coming out of the NFL Combine, and he talks with Kevin Costner's character a couple times throughout the show, or throughout the movie. Draft Day, great movie especially if you're a football fan.
Kevin Costner, one of Kevin Costner's really good
great
one.
In that one.
It's post when he goes away and then he comes back. Draft Day was, I think, one of the first big ones he made after he came back. But it's just my original point was they're not going to be recasting T'Challa,
which is a great move.
Which I think is the only move to be made by Marvel.
Absolutely.
I don't think there's somebody out there that would want to. I don't think anybody out there who could fill those boots would want to out of respect for him. So I'm very interested in Black Panther 2 to see what. I can't think of the actress's name off the top of my head, what she does with the role and where she takes the character. And
she was great, too. She was really
very
good in the Black Panther.
She's very good. She was in the combat. She was fighting there in the final battle. She looks like she's got the skills.
Yeah, she was really good too. And I'm looking forward to seeing her step into the role here. It's good to see somebody who's maybe not a big name A-list actor get a role like this. See what
and to continue on with it. Yeah. I mean, not only does it stick with the comic books, the next successor to Black, it sticks with the canon where she would be the next in line, not only for the throne but for the title of Black Panther, and it just shows respect to Chadwick that you don't recast the role.
Yep.
Which I think is something I don't think you touch for a number of years until you just reboot everything.
Yeah, especially since they can, you could stick with canon by having a female, his sister, step into the Black Panther role and not step off canon. I think that's what makes it even. Not only do I think that they shouldn't recast Chadwick Boseman, by staying with canon, having it be his sister. I think that's great. That's great.
I will miss the opportunity. Hopefully, that I was hopefully looking forward to see him and Storm once the X-Men make their MCU debut. I mean, him and Storm in the comic books are married for quite a while. She's Queen of Wakanda and rules beside him for quite a while. And I was really hoping to get to see that on the big screen, but now we get to go a different direction, and we'll see where it comes.
Kurtis Onesky is, of course, the Boiling Point's senior Marvel correspondent. He's going to be other senior correspondents as well.
Marvel, Star Wars, Star Trek, wrestling.
He's in the senior Marvel correspondent right now. Let's talk about
Marvel
his movies right quick.
You can tell what senior correspondent role I'm filling by my T-shirt I'm wearing at the time.
He was in a movie in 2008 called The Express, the Ernie Davis story. I don't really know much about that.
Can't say I've seen that one.
He was in The Kill Hole in 2012. I don't know what that one is. Maybe some kind of military.
Sounds like a war movie.
Yeah, the role he played is Lieutenant Samuel Drake. So.
Yep, then that's definitely a war movie.
2013 was 42. He played Jackie Robinson. 2014 was when he did Draft Day. He played Vontae Mack. In 2014, he played Get On Up. James Brown was the character he played, so he's played James Brown and Jackie Robinson.
I have not seen Get On Up yet. That one was right there.
I haven't seen that either.
It's on. I guarantee if I go home, it's on my freaking favorites list or need to watch list on Roku. But I keep passing it by. I need to watch that now.
What's awful is that I've seen movies that are like biography movies. I've seen Ray.
Ray was the first one that came to my mind.
Yeah, I mean he was great as Ray.
Jamie Foxx
was fantastic as Ray.
Oh,
Perfect
absolutely.
As Ray. I mean, Joaquin Phoenix.
I think he won an Oscar. I think he won the Oscar.
I watched
that
Walk
year.
the Line with Joaquin Phoenix, who played a great Johnny Cash, and then I watched Straight Outta Compton, which is they got great actors to play the young versions of the rappers in that. But
Straight Outta Compton was really well done. But just to branch off, did you know they offered $50 million to Joaquin Phoenix to film 2 more of those Joker movies, and he told him to fuck off?
Wow, no, I did not know that.
Yeah, that's a man who cares about his craft right there.
Yeah. Well, he's definitely not a guy to do the same role over and over again.
Or to do something just for money. Like, he is...
Yeah, no.
He is an artist. Like, he's not as far batshit crazy like Shia LaBeouf is, but, like, he's only going to take a role if it offers him something.
Yeah.
The Joker role offered him something. He got to do it. He's not
I haven't seen Joker yet either. I got to catch up on that.
Oh, it's on HBO Max right now. I recommend it.
All right. In 2016, he played in Gods of Egypt. I totally forgot he was in Gods of Egypt.
Yes, he was, wasn't he?
Toth.
Yep.
And then of course he's the Black Panther, King T'Challa in all of the Marvel movies. 2016, he played Message from the King. He played Jacob King. I don't know about that movie.
Don't know that one.
2017, he played Marshall, Thurgood Marshall. He also was a co-producer of that movie. He was also the executive producer of Message from the King. And then towards the end here, his last movies he filmed he filmed 21 Bridges in 2019. The Five Bloods in 2020. I don't know about that one yet.
That one apparently has got a lot of Oscar buzz behind it this year. It's on Netflix. Okay. I haven't seen it yet, but I've been hearing a lot of really good things about it. Okay. That one's generating a lot of Oscar buzz.
And then there's another one here that says Moreno's Black Bottom But I don't know. That one's got a little mark here. Let's see what that one says.
Maybe that was the one he was filming when he passed.
Yeah, that's possible.
Unfinished is probably what the asterisk is.
Yeah, I'm not really sure what that one is, or if that one is going to be released, or... But I mean, yeah, I mean, he's had a great career. He's played some unbelievable roles, some iconic roles.
No, cut short. That's the only thing I could complain about his career. Just cut far too short.
Well, his life cut short.
His life, his career. We lost a great one. Who knows what we would have gotten, you know, if this horrible thing hadn't hit him. Cancer sucks. You know, fuck cancer.
It does. It's terrible. And our thoughts and our prayers are with
his family. Wakanda forever.
Yep. He was definitely the Black Panther. He embodied the role the way all the Marvel actors seem to. They get these roles and then they seem to take on the character and make it themselves.
You got to really give it to the casting department Kevin Feige has put together. It's really... A lot of these movies are very much character movies, and they're based on these amazing casting decisions.
Yeah, they wouldn't be as good without the people that they get to play them or the stories that we're getting to.
So going back to your original question of favorites, I don't know...
Yes, let's talk about your favorite movie. Do you have a favorite in the series?
I mean, you're going to make me, so I do have one single favorite that I can point out, but I got to say, it's a hard thing to point out. I don't know if I would say I have a single ultimate favorite, but I would say the first movies of each. The first Iron Man, first Thor, first Captain America. The big three. From those three, this entire universe spawns.
Yeah.
The first Iron Man, they nail it with Robert Downey Jr. The first Captain America, they nail it with Chris Evans. The first Thor, they knock it the fuck out of the park with Chris Hemsworth.
Yeah.
You bring the big three together, which lays the ground for the Avengers, which lays the ground for this entire Marvel Cinematic Universe that we've been privileged to have.
Yeah.
You don't get where we've been, 20 however movies now, if Robert Downey Jr. doesn't kill it as Iron Man and Iron Man
Absolutely.
1.
Yes. Iron Man 1, the first one, and that's what one of my we got some comments here we're going to share. My buddy Ronaldo Rodriguez, he commented and I'm sorry, no, that's not the right one. Let's not talk about that one.
You can edit that one out. That one's for the special release.
We're going to come back to that one.
That one's the special release DVD
we're
for bonus feature there.
But yeah, no, like you were saying, Iron Man, my buddy Jordan, who was just on the show, he says that he has to give props to the first Iron Man, the movie that started it all.
And I do. I have to understand that it started it all. It laid the groundwork, and I mean, and again...
Yeah, and if Robert Downey Jr. doesn't kill that, we don't get an Iron Man 2, which means we don't get Captain America, and we don't get a Thor.
And he was looking for his comeback too. You know, his career was in the shitter at that point. The drugs and the alcohol and everything that he had gone on with him when he was young. And he was looking to make it was that serendipitous moment where you get that actor who knows the craft.
Yeah.
And it is looking for that
something
thing,
to jump
a
into,
spark. Yeah. And the role that gives him that spark. And I mean, and the role was written for the man. He looks the part of Tony Stark in the comic books. You look back at Iron Man comic books in the 90s and the 80s. It looks exactly like Robert Downey Jr. He embodies the role, the billionaire genius, playboy, the philanthropist. And then same with Chris Evans. He looks the part. He embodies the Captain America. Chris Hemsworth.
That's what I have to say. When they casted Chris Evans as Captain America, that's who the Captain America character is the one thing that I was like, I don't know who they should get to play Captain America. Who do you get? I I have no idea. And how did they find? I mean, I know Chris Evans was, Torch.
He was the Torch,
but come on,
he didn't have the body and the physique to pull off Captain America.
No, but I don't think he did. Torch. Come on, I mean, he played Torch great.
Listen, he did a great job as Torch.
How did you see what he did in Torch and think that he can be Captain America?
I think it came down to his interview, just like it did with most of them.
Probably,
they have an amazing casting department, and then the physical transformation that Chris Evans went through. You look at what he was. You look what he was in the Human Torch. He's a lot skinnier. He's a lot more wiry. He's not Captain America. He went through he put the work in. He put the reps in. He put the diet, the exercise, and he put the work in to become Captain America. And Chris Hemsworth is just a modern day demigod. If Chris Hemsworth was in ancient Greece, the Herculean legends would have been about him. He's built like a brick shit house.
He's got the look.
He's got the look. He's got the accent and the attitude for Thor. He's got that partway Nornish, like old school Prathy type talking, but with the mix of the new times, like he's very comic accurate Thor. But if I had to pick one movie that's just fun to watch, minus all the history and all that, if I'm sitting down at home rainy day and I'm picking out from all of the movies,
23. Let's go with 23 movies.
23
to the end game. There's been one or two out after that, but
the one I'm picking out of the DVD case to pop into the DVD player is Thor Ragnarok. Ragnarok, yeah, man. It's fun.
I would not have expected that.
It's funny. The action sequences in it are great. The whole Thor and Banner like
Thor
interaction.
Natalie Portman.
It's a Thor without Natalie Portman. I mean, we're going to be getting a lot more Thor and Natalie Portman soon, but we're going to we're going to trust Taka. We're going to trust Taka. Yes, we are. Taka is an amazing director. No, we're going to trust Taka. Because it's comic accurate. It is comic accurate.
It's going to be the worst of the Marvel movies that have been made so far.
I think you have a dislike of Natalie Portman that you are letting.
It is true.
That is absolutely.
For everybody to be aware, I do have an unbiased towards Natalie Portman.
I think that is
a very good actress. She's fine. She's fine.
And I'm with you that she's no Gwyneth Paltrow. She's no. She's no, who was Hela?
Oh my goodness, you're asking me that? Oh man.
I know, because I'm going to kick myself in the butt for it. She's amazing. She's awesome. She's like a goddess, and I cannot remember her name. She also played Galadriel in the Lord of the Rings movies. Yeah, I need to have another scotch. I need to have another scotch. But she is amazing. Like, she's absolutely her. But again, I trust Taka. Taka is a good director. He's proven that on several different occasions. I trust the rest of that writing room. The Marvel writing room and the Marvel staff have proven to us time and time again that they know what they're doing. So I'm just...
Kate Blanchett?
Kate Blanchett. Thank you. I feel like I need to kick my own ass for not knowing her name.
I didn't know her name.
She is a freaking goddess, all right? She is, if there is a demi-goddess on this planet, it is her. She is amazing, and I'm totally in love with her. But Marvel has proven time and time, Marvel, Disney, Kevin Feige, that whole movie production machine, that whole movie factory they've got put together, knows what they're doing. I trust that Taka wouldn't have signed off on this unless he's got the script, he's got the idea to pull the movie off, to make it.
She did. I mean,
to pull it off and to make it a good Marvel.
Yeah,
movie.
I can't back you up on that. Not on Thor 3. That's great that that's your favorite. I could definitely not agree.
Ragnarok.
With that at all.
Oh
not
yeah,
Ragnarok,
Jeff Goldblum
no.
is the
Jeff Goldblum is
Jeff
good.
Goldblum is the Grandmaster. I mean, come on.
Yeah,
it's my birthday.
No, I'm personally gonna have to go with. I'm gonna have to go with Endgame. Honestly, I'm gonna have to go with the end of it all, the whole wrap up, the Endgame, the cast, the story, the fact that they do all this in Endgame to try and get everybody back, and then the final battle between when we end. Of course, we finally, not all the way to Endgame. It took us 23 movies to finally get. Avengers Assemble.
You know they were gonna milk that like a 30-year-old cow, man. They were gonna milk that for every last fucking drop.
You definitely knew that at the end of the first Avengers, or at least at the end of
the second one, at the end of Age of Ultron, when they cut off right before he said it, because they knew everybody was waiting.
That's what I would have to go with. I would have to go with Endgame.
And I can appreciate that. That is a damn fine movie, especially the end sequence there, the Rain Fire Command, like
man, I know, dude.
Everything about Endgame is amazing, but for me, I think it's the easy answer. Like it's like it's like you're eating chocolate ice cream. Like let's get some strawberry out there.
Let's get a third person in here, because Jordan did say he wanted to give props to the first Iron Man. You know, the movie started it all, but he said that if he had to pick his favorite, it would have to be Infinity War, the first one.
Yes,
because he was amazed that a franchise let the bad guy win. Because at the end of that movie, Thor's the winner.
That is Thanos.
Yep, I'm sorry,
Thor is
Thanos.
Thor is very much specifically not the winner.
No, he's not. No, he's very much a loser.
I mean, Thanos got his snap off. I mean, granted, he does get that big old Stormbreaker axe to the chest.
Yes, he does.
But No, it did. It was good for the bad guy to win for at least a year. I mean, I think everybody pretty much knew it was going to happen.
Well, of course,
in
but
Endgame.
nobody. But at the end, when you're coming up to it, you don't. You know, you think with Thor with that axe, he's got it in his chest, and for me, I was like, and when he started talking to him and he hesitated, like, Thor, what are you doing?
Should have gone for that.
I was like, Thor, what are you doing?
That's always been Thor's biggest weakness, whether it be in the movies or the comic books. That has always been Thor's biggest weakness. His arrogance.
Yep.
Always. It has always been his arrogance. It's what Odin kicked him out of Asgard for, and he works on it. Thor is one of the great, the Thor movies and the Into the Avengers movies is a really great character study movie. I honestly believe, like, all of these movies, once you rip the comic book,
all of them. Yeah,
once you take away the comic book and the superpowers, they're all character studies.
Yeah, we could break down each character, absolutely.
Absolutely. They're all character studies and different...
But I do have to say, in Infinity War, letting even though that you knew after you got over the shock and everything that they would fix it, everything would be fixed, or at least they would try.
They would, yeah.
But still, at the end, when he snapped his fingers and then disappeared, and then
you watched everybody dust.
Yep, everybody turns to dust, and then the movie ends. And people, I mean, when I was watching, I was like, what? What?
Me and my very good friend Felicia went to saw that, and we were clutching onto each other, like tears in our eyes as we're watching everybody like dust. Like, we are clutching onto each other. It's the only time as an adult I've ever cried in a movie theater. Like, it was that moment. Yeah. Like, I understand you gotta give credit to those two. Infinity War and Endgame. You have to give them all the props that they're due. There's a reason they're the two biggest movies. Like, of all time. Yeah. There's a reason for that. 23 movies worth of build-up for these two movies. There is a reason. But, again, I put that to say, that's the easy answer. Baby, that's getting vanilla when you want a little bit of chocolate.
Right. Infinity War is right in the middle. That's like the what's the correct term?
See, I
can't think of the correct term. The peak. That's like the peak. That's where...
Yeah. And it's interesting. I'm very interested to see where the next phase goes, but I still got to give it up for Ragnarok. I like a little bit of comedy. Ragnarok had me rolling. There were several times when I'm dying, busting a gut laughing during Ragnarok, and I like a little bit of comedy in my superhero movie. I like a little sprinkled on top there.
Yeah, so we got Thor, Ragnarok, Endgame, and Infinity War, and then of course all three of us are willing to throw the original Iron Man.
Yeah, I mean, you got to give that's. I mean, you honestly can't even. That's on a whole nother level. Like, Iron Man is one of those movies, like, it should be aired on AMC in another 5 years or so. If it's not already in the American Classics vault, it should be. Like, it's... See, these movies, in my opinion, should have been winning Oscars all this time. The fact that these movies don't get the credit they deserve because they're superhero movies. Yeah. Because they're action movies. Yeah. Complete nonsense. And I would agree with that
if they were only that. If they were only superhero movies, but they're character movies. You see character development over multiple movies. Iron Man, through all three of the first Iron Mans. He was the first one that we really got to see like a progression, like a story progression. Like, how are we going to see these?
From a hard booze and hard partying playboy to a conscientious hero.
Yeah, are they going to be all superhero movies, or are they going to have real life struggles the way most people do? And I think they did a great job with the first three Iron Mans, especially Iron Man 2 was a great movie because of where Tony Stark was in terms, he's dying. It's this thing in his chest, which is keeping him alive, is also killing him. And he starts man, I'll tell you what, that scene when he starts doing the blast in the room, killing, shattering the glass. I was in shock. I was like, oh no!
I love that scene. My favorite part of that scene is, people always ask me, how do you pee in the suit?
Yeah. Just
like that.
Yeah. Yep. I mean, that's a great one, but yeah, when I was like, man, you don't drink and play with guns, and now you're drinking and playing with repulsor lasers and shit.
And just the fact that Robert Downey Jr., I mean, honestly, I will forever think he got robbed of the Oscar, especially for Endgame there, the death scene, because he goes from the entire gambit of motion, Joy holding his daughter, the joking, the laughing while they're building the machines, the moment with his dad. Like, the fact that Robert Downey Jr. didn't honestly get the Oscar or get some sort of an award for that performance is a fucking travesty.
Yeah, he definitely.
All right, well, I'm looking right at you, Academy Awards.
Well, we're not
you.
We're not gonna go too much into the award shows, but I mean, Sundance just awarded a movie like Cuties all kinds of awards, and we're not going to get into that in this episode.
Well, I mean, that's just completely nonsense.
But needless to say that the award shows are, I think, not really giving us much in terms of just because somebody wins an award nowadays doesn't really seem to matter like it did.
I mean, the only thing you can really even trust anymore is Rotten Tomatoes, and not even the critic score. You just got to look at the audience score.
Yeah,
if you're wondering whether or not you should see a movie, Rotten Tomatoes, look at the audience score. It's the best meter I've seen.
Or find somebody you trust who knows about movies who will give you at least an honest answer. And if you can't find anybody, please leave a message, drop me a line. I will be happy.
You have some horrible ass taste in movies, though.
No, I don't.
Oh yeah, you do.
Because there's very few movies I'll actually discourage someone from watching. I will tell somebody what I think of it, but I will not actually tell somebody, please don't watch this. It's
Who's
bad.
that dude you hate?
Movies. Matthew McConaughey.
You will never, ever agree to tell someone to watch a Matthew McConaughey movie, no matter how good it is.
I think Contact is a pretty good movie, despite Matthew McConaughey.
All right.
But
how about I do the rest of the podcast like this, Gunner?
Yeah, you should not. I also do a pretty good Matthew McConaughey impression, but to make fun of him.
All right.
But yeah, please feel free to leave a message, drop me a line. I'll be happy to tell you what I think of any movie and whether or not it's good and what's good about it and what might be bad about it. So if you can drop me a line and you can just ask Kurtis Onesky. He will also tell you his wrong opinion.
Listen, the only thing you need to know, watch the entire Mel Brooks library.
That's weird.
Watch the entire Mel Brooks library. Spaceballs, Blazing Saddles, History of the World Part 1. Those movies will change your life.
They are good movies. All of them are good movies. So we're not going to debate that. All right. Well, let's get to my buddy Ray. He also commented. He doesn't have a favorite movie, but his favorite Marvel experiences was when he played Marvel Ultimate Alliance 1 and 2.
Oh, I didn't know we were going to touch on those today.
I wasn't planning on it either. But
listen. To touch on Ultimate Alliance 1 and 2, you got to go back to the very, very beginning, which was X-Men Legends.
Yes,
on the
Legends
original Xbox.
X-Men Legends 1 and 2. The X-Men Legends 1 was on the original Xbox. Legends 2 was also on the original Xbox?
I want to say yeah, because I think it was when they went. No, I think it was when they went to 360 that they switched over to Ultimate Alliance. Because I'm pretty sure Legends 1 and 2 was just on the original Xbox.
Might be right. So yeah.
But those top-down scrollers, we played plenty of those. Great games. Amazing games.
Yeah, absolutely. Yes.
Got nothing against them.
The X-Men Legends, both of them are very good games, and I think would still hold up to a play today. And both the Ultimate Alliances, and they're good multiplayer. Well,
there's actually 3 of those, but the third one came out as a Nintendo Switch exclusive, and I don't have a second controller, so I've never brought it over. Yeah.
Oh,
they did make a.
The second one was getting rough as it was.
It was a little bit rough there, but
the only problem I had with these games is that every time they made a new one, they kept taking out a lot of good stuff that they had in the previous.
See, and that's the problem. Number 3 did the exact same thing. Number 3 took number 2 and stripped it even more.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's on a Switch, so
you didn't really have you had one move. You had couldn't swap out different moves, level stuff up. It was not done very well from what I understand.
That's where X-Men Legends had the advantage, was because they had a lot of customization in the different characters. You could use different moves. They had different moves you could level up, different moves you could equip.
Yeah, it was a great game.
So there were things that improved. I kind of like some of the dual, when you would do your ultimate power and then you could have 2 or all 4 of you do it or something like that. That was kind of cool that they added, but they just took out too much of what was good.
Yeah, the options, the leveling up options, the progression stuff, it got less. And honestly, the rosters got smaller.
Yeah, they did.
I think Ultimate Alliance 1 was the last time we had a decent roster. Ultimate Alliance 2's roster lost 2 or 3 people. All the X-Men were eventually gone out of it.
Ultimate Alliance 2 was definitely... They included a lot of weird people and took out a lot of high-prized people. I mean, the X-Men were almost non-existent in number 2 except for, Wolverine, Cyclops, Storm.
Yeah. I think Iceman was...
Iceman.
I don't know, it's been a minute.
Iceman was the last one, but I don't believe there was Human Torch.
There was no Bishop. No, Human Torch was in there too, but there was no Bishop.
There was no Bishop.
There's no Beast.
Yeah, there's no Gambit.
No Gambit.
But then they gave us Hobgoblin, Venom. Venom was cool.
Venom
but I don't see why they couldn't have just, kept us with these.
Well, see, in today's day and age, they really should just come out with one of those and then just bombard us with DLC for it. Just bombard us with DLC, everybody.
If Mortal Kombat can give us Armageddon and give us 99.5% 5% of every character across all of their incarnations that they've ever had.
Armageddon was the last time they did that, though, and that was for the 360.
But if they can do that, then there's no reason that Marvel can't give us a video like an Avengers or Legends style top-down side-scroller game with everybody.
Well, I mean, it's all different now. It's all under the Disney umbrella now, so you gotta ask Disney for it. Like, back then they used to give that shit out to different video game companies, but it's all under Disney now. Marvel, Star Wars, Muppets, everybody's under Disney
Star Wars.
now.
I was gonna see if we want to get into Star Wars, but nobody asked any Star Wars questions.
I mean, Star Wars is its whole other thing. I could go off for a half an hour just about how the last 3 movies sucked and what was wrong with each and every one of them in detail, but we'll save that for another podcast.
Yes, and we both agree on that. The only ones that they've been making any good in that franchise is the Independents.
Yes, and the ones in between and the TV shows, The Mandalorian, that was something.
I haven't gotten to catch that yet either. I'm behind on
that. Oh, dude, you've got to see The Mandalorian. Listen, if you're listening to this and you haven't watched The Mandalorian yet, listen, get on Disney Plus. If you're a Verizon member, you get Disney Plus for free. Watch the freaking Mandalorian if you're a Star Wars fan. That shit is the bomb.
Let's talk for a minute about Netflix. Marvel had some Netflix series, which they were stringing together. We got The Defenders.
Sad. I'm honestly sad they had to end.
They also did some great casting. Netflix did some great casting choices on their Marvel series. But
there's rumors and hopes that they're going to be able to keep those people. There's a little bit of a non-compete disclosure in some of those contracts, so we have to wait a little bit of time out. But I do believe they're in talks with Charlie Cox to come back as Daredevil.
I don't see, yeah.
They want him back as Daredevil, and as far as I can tell, he's down with it.
They got to get some of the people who play if they want to include these characters in other Marvel stuff, I think you got to go.
They missed the opportunity in that. They had all of this stuff going on, and they didn't intertangle on it. That's the biggest opportunity missed in this whole Marvel universe thing they put together. Yep. The fact that the Defenders didn't come up and help during, any of the Avengers movie or any of the agencies. The fact that these things didn't intertwine more is a huge missed opportunity.
Yeah, now I get that. Now, the credit to Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. They've both taken filming breaks during a season and stuff to coincide with the movie's releases.
Granted, yes.
So we know that the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. kind of does take place in the MCU, even though they missed it. Like you said, they missed a huge opportunity to put them in in Endgame or Infinity War.
They should have figured out that Coulson was alive. And granted, I am like 3 or 4 seasons back yet on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. I will get caught up. I will get caught up, but I am a little bit behind on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
And the Netflix series, because even in the Netflix series, they did mention the events from the first Avengers movie in Daredevil, so it was supposed to have taken place in the same universe.
Then I think they said it branched off, like that, the New York event, and then it like branched off into its own little thing.
Is that it?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, anyway.
Yeah. Because there's some bulletproof dude just rampaging through Harlem, and Tony Stark's not going to come down and take care of business. Come on.
I think Disney just knew that they were going to make their own streaming service, and eventually were going to be abandoning the Netflix.
I mean, this was before Disney even was trying to buy them. They didn't know 5 years ahead in time. They didn't know that far ahead of time.
I'm saying when they gave the Netflix the okay to make their series and to use the characters, I think they still knew at that point that they were eventually going to make. That they wanted their own streaming service.
Maybe eventually, but it was less of a thought than anything at that point. But the point is, we're not going to get it anymore. They had already kind of canceled Iron Fist, which I thought was a real big... Iron Fist was definitely the least of those series, but I thought it had a lot of potential.
I liked it, and I liked the guy who they got to play Iron Fist, so that was part of it.
I mean, there's a couple of things about Iron Fist that just were just not... It was a little bit comic inaccurate. There was a couple of things that they definitely veered off of the comic books a whole lot. And I just didn't like him. I didn't like the dude they got to play him.
Really?
I wanted to smack that smug look off his face. I wanted to smack that smug look off Finn, what's his name's face. I didn't like him.
I like him, and I like that he was.
But I liked him in Defenders. There was more in season 2 of Iron Fist. I stopped not wanting to smack him so hard. Like there was more. There was there was potential there, but they didn't get a chance to really dig it out as far as that could.
Weave their series together the same way, and then made the Defenders, which was
a great
job by Netflix.
The fact that we don't get to see Misty Knight as a superhero, like they even cut her arm off and were giving her the robotic arm and everything.
Yeah.
The fact that Misty didn't get to so mad about that.
Yeah.
And also Luke Cage. Luke Cage was doing amazing things. Luke Cage was an awesome series. It was a great fucking show. The dude who played Luke was amazing. They were going down comic accurate storylines with him.
Yeah.
Cottonmouth and Bushmaster.
Yeah.
The dude they got to play Bushmaster in the second season.
I like the guy that they got to play
Luke Cage.
But I'm not a huge Luke Cage fan.
Loved it.
I'm not a huge
Loved
Luke Cage fan.
everything
I'm not
about
saying,
it.
but he did a great job. Like he did a great job in it, and that's I think his acting was what made me keep watching. Because like I said, I'm not really a Luke Cage fan, but he was good. And then of course that's where we got to see Jessica Jones and right?
Don't even get me started on the Jessica Jones scene. They were amazing. All 3 seasons of that.
Yeah. And
fucking
phenomenal.
And
they got to play Jessica Jones, also another great.
And they got the dude they got to do Kilgrave, David Tennant, one of my favorite actors of all time, absolutely killed it. Like if you ask me which is the scariest Marvel villain, I'm telling you Kilgrave. Like Ultron, yeah, he can blow up cities and kill the world. Thanos, yeah, he killed half the. Kilgrave can get in your mind and make you sit out a window like this without blinking for 5 hours.
Yeah, that's so good.
No, the scariest Marvel villain in history, Kilgrave.
Yeah. He's definitely dangerous. Yeah. That was a hell of a
amazing series, and amazing work, and I'm glad. And again, they were much more comic accurate than any of the movies or Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. or anything has been. I mean, you talk about go back to Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. That whole thing they did with Ghost Rider. I mean, that was just come on. Ghost Rider is supposed to be a demon from hell.
Coincidentally, I prefer the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Ghost Rider to the movie Ghost Rider.
Oh, I'll take Nicolas Cage over that nonsense of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. all day. All right, I will even take the third Nicolas Cage Ghost Rider movie. All right, Angel of Vengeance.
No.
Oh yeah, bad. I think they had like $20 budget, maybe $30.
Nicolas Cage.
They paid Nicolas Cage in nachos.
Nicolas Cage. I'm sorry. I know he tried, and I will give him credit for trying to be a good Ghost Rider.
Listen, the first 2 are good. The first one is good. The second one is okay. The third one's just like I said, it's got like a $20 budget.
I don't even think I knew that there was a third one.
Yeah, Angel of Vengeance.
I think I remember the second one. Which one had Sam Elliott?
First one.
No, I don't even remember if I saw the second one. I don't think I did. I think I said, "There's no Sam Elliott. I'm not turning it on," because for me, Sam Elliott was the highlight of the first one. Sam Elliott.
Well, Sam Elliott's the highlight of anything.
Sam Elliott being the previous Ghost Rider. I said when I saw that, I said, "Oh, Nicolas Cage, go away. Let's just see the movie with."
Okay,
with
Gunnar.
Sam Elliott.
So I got something for you. I do have something I want to bring up. A question that I have to you that I think will be interesting. We have the X-Men coming in.
Yes, the X-Men.
We have the Marvel, and the Marvel universe is expanding, going even further, taking away all of the roles they've already cast. I don't even
know who they cast. I didn't even look up to see who they.
Well, no, I mean they haven't cast anybody, but taking like Chris Evans, Iron Man, like you can't say Iron Man. Taking away the roles that have already been cast and already been spoken for. There have been rumors that Keanu Reeves has been in talk with Marvel for a role. Who would you cast Keanu Reeves as? And I have an answer that I think is perfect. The entire Marvel Cinematic Universe. You want to give me my answer?
Who would I cast him?
Who would you cast Keanu?
Who do you think I think he might be able to... Who do I think maybe he got cast as?
I mean, I'll take either or both.
I mean, because I would probably cast him as a... I don't even know if you're going to know who this character is. I would probably cast him as someone like... he's not even a main character, not even a main villain, but maybe like a Ruckus.
Of course I know who Ruckus is.
Okay, well, I don't know.
He's one of the Nasty Boys.
Yeah, okay. Well, I don't know. I know you know a lot about Marvel.
No, I disagree with that. You can't give Keanu Reeves a B-list villain.
I could see him maybe... Oh, man, I don't know if he could do it, but maybe a Gambit? Maybe?
I think you were going more along the right path. I think you make him a villain, and I think you make him Mr. Sinister. that black hair.
Is that who he's being? Is that who,
no,
is that who
I mean,
might
I
be?
know.
Oh,
there's
okay,
only
you're just giving
rumors.
me-
There's only
oh,
rumors
okay.
that he's been talking to,
Okay.
but
No.
I see him as a Mr. That black hair, that like deep brooding thing he's been going on in the John Wicks lately.
Yeah.
The half Russian accent he can drop into. Yeah, absolutely. I think he rocks Sinister out of the park.
No.
Yeah, absolutely. You get him a little bit of pale face paint, the freaking red diamond on his forehead.
Oh man, I don't know.
Who then? You gave me Ruckus, and you're Pashawn, my Mr. Sinister. I
don't think he's a good Mr. Sinister. No, who would I cast as Mr. Sinister? Probably.
No, I'm not saying who do you cast as Keanu Reeves?
Ruckus.
No, you cannot give one of the hottest actors in Hollywood a D-list villain that was only ever brought in to like lick Mr. Sinister's boots. Like he was Mr. Sinister's putty squad.
I think you could put Hugo Weaving as Mr. Sinister. I think that would
Hugo Weaving's already been Red Skull.
Yeah, no, he did a good job as Red Skull.
Yeah,
no, he can't be anybody else.
No,
obviously.
you can't. Yeah, Hugo's had his Marvel time. It's time to move on. Although I agree that he would rock the role, but
a villain.
No, villain or
Reeves?
hero. If you think there's a hero he can play.
I mean, I'm not even sure he can play Ruckus.
Keanu Reeves is an amazing actor. I don't think you're giving Keanu Reeves
Keanu
nearly
Reeves
the credit that he deserves. Have you seen all three of the John Wicks?
No, I have not seen the John Wicks.
Then you have not seen the Renaissance Keanu Reeves.
I did like him in The Matrix. I did not like him in Constantine's.
Constantine, I thought, was really good. I mean, for the script that he was given, I mean, it was a crap movie, but he acted the shit out of his part.
Yeah, I think he played...
Listen, you need to watch the John Wicks.
I think he played Neo in Constantine also, is my problem with Constantine.
You need to... No, that's completely wrong. That is so far wrong. You're missing the nuance of Constantine then.
Either way, I'm not a fan of Constantine.
You need to watch the John Wicks.
He does good in the Bill and Ted's.
You need to watch the John Wicks because that's new Keanu Reeves. Like, he really... Like, he really came up and, like, his acting chops have gotten insane. Have you not seen any of them?
No, I don't believe so.
Dude, they're on HBO Max. Please, watch them tonight when we get done recording. They are amazing movies.
No, I don't believe I have. I mean, who would I cast him as? I mean, I'm not really, I don't... Yeah.
Really? You got nobody?
I'd probably have to sit in front of my big, huge marble poster with all the 1,000 characters on it and look at him and be like, who do I think he could be?
I can understand that.
Because I don't really know.
He's got that's why I put him as Mr. Sinister. He's got a very unique look. And I think you give him a little bit of face paint, some CGI, a little bit of something to his voice. I think he would rock the fuck out of that role.
Maybe.
I think he would rock the fuck out of that. Especially, you haven't seen the John Wick, so I want you to hold judgment on him being Mr. Sinister until you've watched the John Wick movies.
All right. Yeah, because I don't know who I would cast as Mr. Sinister or Apocalypse either. And I hope we get a good Apocalypse at some point.
It's going to be 10, 15 years before we get that far.
No, we could easily get... Well, they're bringing the X-Men in. They could bring Apocalypse in much sooner than that.
Because we've got an entire universe to think of now. The first thing they're going to do is rush towards the Avengers versus X-Men storyline so they can make $1 billion.
That's possible, too.
And that's easily going to take 3 or 4
Well,
movies.
they already got rid of the Mutant Registration Act. I mean, they just did that. That was the whole first Avengers and the whole... everything.
The Sokovia Accords, is that what you're talking about?
Yeah.
It's not the Mutant Registration Act. It's not even close to
the equivalent. There is no mutants in the Marvel Universe.
Not yet. The Sokovia Accords simply said that the Avengers were under the purview of the United Nations. It was a legitimate, should have been done thing. The Avengers needed somebody to oversee them. I'm on Team Cap. I'm on Team Iron Man on this one. The Mutant Registration Accords is just bullshit, racist.
No,
nonsense.
I'm on Cap's team with the Sokovia Accords.
I can understand that. I can understand the argument, but I mean,
yeah,
Sokovia.
Yeah, yeah, no doubt. But how would that have made anything? How would that have made anything any different?
If there was oversight, Iron Man wouldn't have been able to get the little glowy stick of doom to play around with it. Yeah. So Ultron wouldn't have been informed. I mean, granted, then we wouldn't have had Vision.
Who else? And then who else would have gotten the big glowy sticky thing and did something with it? There's
Shield, but they wouldn't have. But they wouldn't have had Bruce Banner, and they wouldn't have had Tony Stark's brilliance behind it.
I mean, yeah. So I'm on Team Cap with that.
No, I understand, and again, I understand both sides of it. It's a complicated issue, just like all political issues are. But
yes, absolutely, certainly, in which we're not going to be getting into.
No.
But Yeah, so we talked about Netflix and how we wish they would have had series, and now, of course, Disney has their own streaming service, so they're going to be making their own Marvel series, which a few are out now.
I'm excited for WandaVision. I'm excited for Winter Soldier.
Yeah, I'm
or
definitely
for
excited
Falcon
to see
and Winter
some of
Soldier.
These, yeah, I'm definitely excited to see some of these series on the Disney.
I gotta say,
service.
Loki is probably the one that's got me most interested, even though I think production had to be stopped on that one because of the whole Corvid thing, so we're waiting for them to pick that back up. But I've got to say the Loki series is probably the one I'm most excited to see.
Yeah, Tom Hiddleston is really good.
Really, really good. And I'm going to be very
really
sad
good.
when his time as Loki is over.
He has played. What do you mean his time as Loki is over?
Well, I mean, it's as of right now, it's only been confirmed as a mini series, so it might be like 5 or 6 more episodes of whatever this show is, and then we're done.
If they do another series, it's in the terms of the year. This is all before he died stuff that we're getting in this miniseries. He's dead.
It's directly after the events of Endgame.
He's dead.
Yeah, but they went back in time, and he stole the time cube. He stole the portal. Remember?
Yeah, but in the modern day, he's still dead.
No, because they changed history. He stole the space cube and portaled out of there.
Oh yeah, that is true. Oh yeah, that is true. I forgot. Actually, I didn't even.
Remember, Iron Man got hit by the Hulk, and Loki picked up the Tesseract and pieced the fuck out.
Yeah, so that changed.
So what do you think happened?
There.
Loki took that back to Thanos, gave it to him, got his reward, got whatever power that he's going to get that's going to allow him to continue on in the Loki series.
No, doesn't he? Okay. This is weird, everybody, so try and stick with us here because we're going to be talking about the past, the present, and the future in this conversation.
It's pretty much going to spawn off like
back in the events in Endgame when they go back in time to get all this stuff.
Yes.
Loki steals the cube
and pieces out.
Then how do they get the cube? Then they go back in time again.
Then they go back in time again to a shield bunker where they knew that it was, and creating. That's what Cap's mission at the end of that, when Cap was like, I've got to go back and put all the stones back. A lot more complicated than that. They're actually doing an animated what if to like follow, or they're doing an animated. I think they said it might be a mini series. They're thinking about a movie. It's still in the very, very early planning pages, but they're doing an animated like thing to show Cap's journey putting all the stones back.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
That might be interesting to see.
But yeah, the Loki series picks up right there. Like the director, Kevin Feige, the director, or somebody said.
It does take place back prior to the events of Endgame. You're saying it picks right up with him stealing the Tesseract. Stealing the
Tesseract. It's going to pick up right there. That's back in the day of Avengers 1. That'll be back in the timeline of Avengers 1 2000.
Yeah, okay, good.
What? 16, 14? Something.
Don't ask me that. Now we're talking about real-time years
versus movie years.
Yes. Let's not even do that.
You can figure it out. There's a wiki out there somewhere.
Yes, and so yeah, I guess you're right then. So, yeah, but that, like I said though, it's taking place not after the events of Endgame. It's taking place after he steals the Tesseract. Then.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So it still takes place in the past, from where we currently are.
Well, yeah,
in the cinematic universe.
Maine. Yes, absolutely. Actually, it's going to be taking place in the past very literally. They did say that there would be a time travel element in it. So I don't know if it's going to be Loki tramping through time, but. It's gonna be. There's gonna be a time travel element to it because they showed Loki. One of the stills that we've seen was Loki like in the 70s, surrounded by a bunch of like 70s gear and shit like that. So there's gonna be a time travel element to it.
And the Black Widow movie is also taking place prior. It's taking place between Infinity War and Endgame.
Yes, it's taking place during this whole snapped
after
world.
The snapping thing. Yes, because Black Widow, if you didn't know, takes over what is left of S.H.I.E.L.D. after the snapping. She's pretty much the highest ranking officer.
Well, yeah, I mean, they showed that in Endgame, in the beginning of Endgame, when she's literally throwing around the orders and sitting in the big chair, and which I love. Again, character development.
Yes.
Again, character development.
Yeah, I love it. Yeah, it was great to see Black Widow just be a spy or an assassin, and then have to evolve all the way to the director of S.H.I.E.L.D. or what was left of it.
Well, it's looking like they're probably going to end up going with what they did with Mulan. It'll be up on Disney Plus, but you'll have to pay an extra amount for it. You'll have to pay an extra $20 or $30 for it, and then you'll just have it. You'll just have it on Disney Plus.
Yeah.
That did really well for them for Mulan. The numbers for that are coming in. They made bajillions of dollars off of that doing it with Mulan. That's so good. There's all the indications are looking like they're going to be doing that with the Black Widow movie. They'll release it in whatever theaters are open for like a day or two, and then they'll release it like the day after, 2 days after that. They'll release it direct to Disney Plus for like a $30 fee.
You gotta wonder. how much this coronavirus thing has pushed movie companies like Disney into figuring out the new way. How much longer? I guess what I'm asking is how much longer
are movie theaters going to be a thing?
Going to movie theaters?
I don't think they're going to be. I honestly don't think it's going to be a big thing much longer. And honestly, I'm here for it. I don't want to have to go. I would much rather pay $30 at home to sit at home in front of my TV with my scotch and my vape in my home with whatever anything else I wanted to do. I want to be able to pause it and go and hit the bathroom. Like, going to the theater
more and more, it seems like we don't have to leave the house anymore, which is my only problem with it. Is that's just one more thing that we're not going to go out to do.
And I understand, and I mean, for the big things, you can still go out to the theater. You can, I mean,
no, we're not going to do that.
Drive-ins, I could see drive-ins making a comeback. Yeah, the Har's Drive-In down the street from us has been showing bigger numbers than they've had in years because of the whole coronavirus thing.
That's what I think. I was
built-in social fucking distancing.
I was like, I'm too. I bet the drive-ins are actually probably getting some good numbers right now.
Built-in social distancing, baby. It's perfect for the situation.
People are looking to go out right now. They want to go out and do something, but nothing. Depending on where you live, nothing's open yet.
It's. I honestly think movie theaters are and should be a thing of the past, and I think they're gonna fight tooth and nail. It's an entire industry. But I honestly, I think
figure out a way. As soon as they figure out a way to like, if Disney's working good with the way that they're doing it, then I could definitely see that being a model.
Well, that's why they.
But all the movie companies don't have streaming services, so I think we're about to see some partnerships.
Well, there was actually a big thing. There was a thing where Universal during this whole thing had their movie Trolls 3 that was due to come out in theaters right before this whole pandemic. Yes, but they didn't release it on their streaming service. They released it on video on demand everywhere. And theaters went crazy. They signed on for boycotts of all Universal movies because they cut the theaters out of the process. They said they weren't going to put any universe. Yeah. And I think and it's going to be that. It's going to be one of these big boys. It's going to be Disney or Fox or Universal steps up and says, "We're doing this." And then the theaters say, "Well, fuck you." And they're just going to be like, "Well, then fuck us. Fuck you then. We don't care." And then that'll be the death of the theater.
Yeah.
It'll be one of the
Fox
big boys.
Doesn't have a movie theater or movie company anymore.
It'll be one of the. It'll be yes, whatever. It'll be Time Warner then, whoever the fuck it is. It'll be one of the big boys is going to say, "We're doing this and fuck you if you don't like it," and the theaters are going to say fuck you, and they're going to lose.
Oh yeah,
because there's money in video on demand. Trolls 3 did massive amounts of money going, especially at the start of a pandemic. Parents were dying for something to just take my kids from me for 2 hours. Trolls 3, yes, here's your $20.
Apple even got a month membership fee from me because I signed up because I wanted to watch the Greyhound movie that they made with Tom Hanks. Of course, they didn't have that. It wasn't released yet when I signed up for the free membership, and then it didn't come out until after my trial ended. So they did get a free, a month from my membership for Greyhound. In hindsight, I wouldn't have done it again because Greyhound wasn't the best movie. It was a fine movie. It was a fine movie. It was a good movie, but not. I certainly wouldn't have paid an Apple membership for a month for it.
Streaming is the way it's going. Everything's going that way, whether it be
it is.
TV shows, movies, video games, everything's streaming, and it's the way it's going. And unless the theaters evolve,
no, there's no how. They can't.
I mean, they can't. They make all their money off concessions. They don't even really take in the movie ticket prices. That mainly goes to the producers and to the movie companies. They make all their money off concessions. That's why they charge $12 for a medium popcorn.
Yeah.
And nobody wants that anymore. Americans are done spending $12 on a medium popcorn. We would much rather sit at home and pay, instead of a $9 movie ticket, pay $30 for the movie that the entire family can sit here and watch, and we can make a $2 bag of popcorn out off the fucking microwave.
Yeah.
Movie theaters are a thing of the past, and it's a matter of years before they're gone.
And they also don't have the infrastructure to try and even try and switch over to being a streaming service because
there's already so many. It's not like AMC or
they're all independently or locally
and you see these theaters, at least especially the ones around us. I don't know if you're listening to this in a big city, maybe it's different, but around us the theater changes hands every 6 months. It's a different theater brand. It was Flagship, and then it was Pirate Theater, and then it was
AMC.
Back to AMC, and then it was Flagship again. Like, They switch every 6 months. Yeah. It's a new company and a new owner, and it's not a sustainable business.
No, not anymore.
It's not anymore. And the new technologies and the way things are going.
Scare, it could easily that could be what kills it.
See, I think a lot of people ask about this coronavirus thing. When are we getting back to normal? I don't think we're ever going to get back to normal.
Well,
it's how close to normal is the new normal going to be?
Well, I don't like the word the new normal because I think a lot of things should go back to normal. But I think what it did do is some things that were heading towards certain things. I think it sped that up. So when you say a new normal, I mean, some things are going to be different, but I think some things were going to be different in a year or two anyway. This just sped it up.
I could see that. I think masks will become a lot more prevalent.
No.
Yeah, I do. I think even after this coronavirus thing is gone during flu season and stuff like that, I see there'll be people
masks, but I'm telling you right now that ain't nobody going to be making me wear a mask. That's the way I stand on it.
Well, nobody's going to try and make you do anything.
Well, I guess. See, that's a debate that we should have sometime, Curtis.
Well, no. Well, like I said, we're not getting into political stuff.
Yeah. So, where are we going next?
Marvel. What else do you want to talk about? Marvel. I mean, you're the freaking host, man. I'm just the special guest star here.
Yeah. Well, we talked about Netflix. We talked about the movies. We talked about. I mean, we pretty much covered Marvel all the way.
We talked about what we talked about.
Unless we want to talk about maybe how you think maybe they could bring the X-Men into the Marvel Cinematic Universe, because they're gonna have to figure out some kind of way to do this to bring it in.
Then you have it be some sort of glitch with the snaps, maybe a reaction or a consequence of Banner's snap to bring everybody back. Maybe Banner wasn't.
Guess it could be.
You know, maybe something within the gamma radiation of Hulk when he snapped, fucked up the snap or something like that. I mean, honestly, I don't know how you do it, especially since you've already got this entire universe established that, already doesn't have mutants in it. Like, I don't know how you're going to establish that, in this universe that already has the Avengers, by the way, there's also these mutants.
The way I was thinking about it was you'd have to, start a little slower. Like, where are they at in the timeline now? They can't jump ahead with the.
I mean, you've already killed Iron Man, Captain America.
What I'm saying is, you could. I was thinking. I said this when they first acquired the X-Men side of Marvel. That what they should do is do an X-Men, a prequel movie, one that takes place back during the times of Iron Man's, or maybe during one of the events of the first or second Avengers, perhaps. You have the X-Men. You have the X-Men have their movie, and then you tie it in by a broadcast. Oh, Sokovia's being lifted into the air.
Oh, and they saw all these events, and we're just like, fuck them, they can handle it.
No, the X-Men are busy doing their own thing, whatever their thing is. That's why they can't go help Sokovia, whatever their thing is. But I'm thinking that's how you tie it in.
I disagree with that.
You do a prequel movie to show that they've always been here. We just haven't been following them.
I disagree. I think to try and do it that way is just
I think that's one way to create
another.
I'm saying
that's how you fuck up your timeline again already with the X-Men.
Because they've been here the whole time. We just haven't seen them. We're not following them.
Nonsense. Nonsense.
No,
complete and utter shenanigans, and I would boo.
No, I think
all of that. That's how you fuck with. That's how you start messing with your timeline.
As opposed to saying they came back because the Hulk snapped his fingers.
Oh, as a consequence of Hulk snap, I would buy that a lot more than they've been here the whole time. Just every time the world was ending, they decided to fuck off. They were on vacation at that point.
No, they weren't on vacation. They were doing their own thing.
Oh, so Mr. Sinister just happened to attack the same time as Thanos, and Galactus happened to attack the same time as Sokovia, and Sabretooth attacked at the same time that New York. It just happened. Isn't that a coinky dink?
You can have it smaller. You can have it be smaller than something like that.
Obviously, that will. I completely disagree with all of that. And if they do that, I'll boo it the fuck out of the theater.
See, I'm not sure that I would agree with your way to do it either. So
I hope it's a better way. I was just exactly. They get paid for that.
I don't see how they're going to do it. It doesn't matter how they're going to do it. One side or the other. JD or Kurtis Onesky, one of us is going to be pissed off at how they did it, and the other one is going to either understand it or like it. That's the way it's going to be. Both of us are not going to like whatever they do. In fact, whenever we know how they're going to do, we'll have another podcast and we'll come on the show just to say, hey, look, see, we disagree.
They are better writers than I could ever be. They are
Yeah,
they have
not
created 23 movies. That I highly disagree as well.
I'm just playing.
Of the 23 movies, they have webbed and created this amazing universe that has kept me enthralled and sitting on the edge of my seat through all of these movies. They are so much better at what they do than we could ever hope to be. So I trust them. I trust Kevin Feige. I trust the staff as much as it kills me to say. I trust what the mouse is doing with Marvel.
Yeah, the mouse. All right, so let's one last question I want to ask you here before we get ready to wrap up. Then
absolutely.
Who do you think we don't need to go into anything big, not counting whether they bring the X-Men in or not, because we don't know exactly what that's going to be. Who do you think the next supervillain is? Who's the next Thanos?
Who's the next Thanos?
Yeah.
It's an excellent question. I have two theories on this. First theory is Galactus, because it would give them the perfect way to bring in Marvel's first family, the Fantastic Four, to reboot the Fantastic Four, which is, if you followed the Marvel comics at all, the Fantastic Four are so much more important than they've ever been portrayed in any of the movies. Like, in the comic books, the Fantastic Four are the core of pretty much everything. Or, see, being Galactus. Or again, in the same vein, Doctor Doom. Which, again, we haven't seen a proper Doctor Doom. Doctor Doom is an Omega-level threat. He knows magic. He knows science. He is the president of a country. He is the ruling dictator of Latveria, which gives him UN protection as well. He can't be arrested. He can't be, like... Doctor Doom is an Omega-level threat. And the fact that he hasn't been given his proper due in the movies is, again, an absolute travesty. Who do you think it's going to be?
I think I could see Doom being like an Avengers 1 or an Avengers 2 villain, like equivalent. Like an Ultron. But I don't see him being the next... I don't think I see him being the next Thanos. I definitely see it being Galactus. Because outer space. I think the next big villain is going to be another outer space.
Yeah, the Snap brought. I think they could easily do it as the Snap got his attention. He was like,
"Yeah,
what?
Maybe
half of my food is gone, and this planet is the reason why."
Yeah, that could be.
And
you
know that's how you get the world eater's attention. And he's like, "Oh, I'm making sure this doesn't happen again."
Yep, I could definitely see that. I could definitely see it being Galactus. Galactus would probably be one of my top guesses, I would say. I don't know much about Adam Warlock, who we saw in
bad guy who goes hero
who we saw in Guardians 2, or at least got
saw his egg in Guardian 2. But
so I think he's going to be in there. I think he could be in Avengers he
could be in Avengers like a single movie threat. I think he'll be more of like the Guardians 3 villain, because the way that his story works in the comic books is he's a Guardians villain. They turn him to the light side, and then he becomes a Guardian. Mm-hmm. He becomes one of the Guardians of the Galaxy.
Well, they could maybe do that. Maybe if they decide to get rid of any Guardians. I mean, the Guardians is already at with Nebula.
Well, they've got Thor.
Although we just lost.
And they still have Nebulas, but they have Thor now. Oh,
what's her name?
Gamora. Oh no, she's still alive. Gamora. I mean, well, the past Gamora is still alive.
She's alive up until Thor throws her off the edge.
Not Thor, Thanos.
Man, why do I keep getting Thor and Thanos messed up? I don't know, man.
I have no idea. You really need to double check that. But in Endgame, past Nebula or past Gamora came to the future and stayed.
Did she stay? I thought she went back.
No, she stayed. She walked off. Right when Tony was dying, they did that whole pan of everybody being like, "Oh no, Tony," and you see Gamora just kind of walks off into the sunset. And then right at the end, when Thor rejoins the Guardians on the ship, you see Peter Quill running a search for her, trying to find her.
Oh, so maybe
Gamora, because she's not going anywhere. That actor, she's, of course I can't think of her name. You keep calling Thanos Thor, and I
Zoe?
can't. Yeah, Zoe Deschler, or just something. Yeah, Zoe Zelanda, something like that.
Yes, yep, Zoe Saldana.
Saldana, thank you. She's not going anywhere. She's signed on for 5 more movies. She's got one of them big, long, all but lifetime contracts.
Well, that'll be interesting. That'll be cool to see then. That'll give the Guardians a little something then, too.
Yeah, because past Gamora is still very much alive in the current universe.
So are we going to see Chris Hemsworth? Is he bowing out of Thor then? Is that how it's going to work with the
reports are that he will be in Love and Thunder. Reports are that he will be in Thor 4, or whatever you want to call it, Natalie Portman's Thor. Reports are that he's going to be in Natalie Portman's Thor, but he's also going to be in Guardians of the Galaxy 3. So I think, like, Natalie Portman's Thor is going to focus on her, and Thor's just going to be fucking off with the Guardians.
And what, she's just going to become...
That's at least my theory.
She's going to become a Thor with Thor still being Thor?
But yeah, and there's no Mjolnir. So what? She's gonna wield Stormbreaker, which doesn't have the enchantment to give him to give her the powers of Thor. The only reason that if you're worthy you can wield Mjolnir is because Odin put that enchantment on it. Whosoever is worthy can wield this hammer and will have the powers of Thor. That's the only reason anybody who wields the hammer has the powers of Thor. The only reason is because of Odin's enchantment. Number one, Odin's dead. Number two, Mjolnir's fucking gone because Cap took it back in time with him.
Yes.
Unless, Cap didn't.
Thor still has the power of Thor is because he's Thor.
He's Thor. Is because he's fucking Thor.
Because he's Thor.
Odin didn't really take Thor's power from him. He put a blocker on it.
He's the one guy who doesn't need Mjolnir. Did I say that right?
Yes.
To use his powers.
Yes. Well, I mean, so when Odin cast him out, he put a blocker on his powers, but once he was worthy, he was able to regain him, blew past that power. But the enchantment is still on Mjolnir.
Yes.
So that's why Cap is able to, do it, and because he got Mjolnir from the past, still enchanted with Odin's magic.
Yes.
In the current time, not only is Mjolnir destroyed by Hela, hey, the enchantment, even if she was, or even if it wasn't destroyed, Odin's dead, so bye-bye to that enchantment.
Yeah.
So how are you going to say, Natalie Portman, picked up one of the fragments of Mjolnir and got it in her blood or something? I have no idea how they're going to do this.
This is going to be the worst Marvel movie.
See, I disagree. I am going into this hopeful. I'm worried that it is going to be a giant clusterfuck. I am worried that it is going to be the worst Marvel movie, but I'm going in hopeful.
I was only thinking that she could become Thor if Thor died. So I'm thinking Chris Hemsworth is going to die in Guardians 3.
Chris Hemsworth is the only one of the original 3 that's still signed on for 7 more movies. He signed on a big-ass contract.
I don't know.
He said that he'll play Thor until they kick him out of the role.
Well, then Natalie Portman can't be Thor.
I agree.
Good, so...
They're going to try.
We know Thor 4, Love and Thunder, will be the worst of all Marvel movies.
I don't know if it's going to be the worst of all... I'm going in hopeful. I'm going in hopeful. Right now, I think Iron Man 2 is the worst of the Marvel movies, but,
And right now, we think Galactus
Iron Man 3, I'm sorry. Iron Man 3, the one with the fake Mandarin.
Yeah, the fake Mandarin. Let's not talk about that either.
Yeah,
Iron Man 3 is definitely on the list as one of the worst ones.
I think currently that's the absolute worst one, and I will say it's bad. It is fucking bad. It is bad. It is a bad movie.
It is the one movie where you really don't need it at all.
At all. Oh, what happened to Pepper Potts' superpowers? We get a one-line throwaway at the end. He's like, "Oh, Pepper, I figured her out." And that's what we get. But Pepper Potts has super flame powers now that we never see again.
That was the one thing. That definitely where they just kind of threw that away. They said they made Iron Man 3.
That was a bad decision. And you know what? We probably shouldn't have made him blow up all his suits either.
Yeah.
So we're just going to ignore all of that happen and just put a couple throwaway lines in there from time to time.
He didn't have too many suits. He certainly didn't have 23 suits or whatever in.
He had the Iron fucking Legion. He still had 23 suits. He just painted them all blue and white. And gave them all over to Jarvis.
Those were.
He still had 23 suits. He just made Jarvis take them all.
Those were different though. You're talking about his Iron Legion, right?
Yeah, same thing. Same premise.
In a way, yes, but they weren't specialized suits. They were sentries. I mean, I'm sorry. I mean, his suits, all the suits that he made in the end of Iron Man 3, all the different suits had a certain role. Or
they all had one goal. They all had one job, Gunner. Each and every single one of those suits had one job, and that was to sell toys.
Yes,
that was the only job all of those suits had. The only one that was even cool of that was Jarvis's suit.
No, some of them were pretty cool. Like the big one with the big spine that could keep the thing from falling over.
Igor was pretty cool.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. That one was pretty sweet.
Yeah, Igor was pretty sweet. That's no lie.
Yeah.
But I mean, he's still got multiple suits. We know that. I mean, he's got the Hulkbuster suit. He's got two different suits he uses just in Age of Ultron. He's got the different.
His suit's all nanofiber now.
Now in Endgame.
In Infinity War it was, too.
Yeah, in Infinity War and Endgame, I love how he uses the Wakanda tech. As soon as Wakanda opens up their borders to the entire Iron Man suit's Wakanda tech.
Yeah. I like
Not
it
only
too.
is it nanotech, like even his energy shields or the Wakandan energy shields. I don't know if you noticed that, but like it shows. I love that. I love that he uses Wakanda tech as it goes on, which is just
it was obviously
awesome.
an upgrade. Yeah.
Yeah, very much.
So we think all right. So we think Galactus was probably going to be maybe the next big bad
Yeah, I
guy.
would have to put it as Galactus as my main. I'm pretty sure he's going to be the next big bad because you can do the whole Silver Surfer storyline. You can tease Galactus for 6 or 7.
Yeah. I mean, you're right. You could also put in Silver Surfer.
And he's an Avengers level movie all on his own right there.
I wish I could say Apocalypse. Apocalypse is my favorite.
I mean, and he's
Marvel
a big X-Men movie, but he's not a real big Avengers villain.
Yeah, he's an X-Men guy. So we'll probably see him in one of the X-Men villains.
Kang the Conqueror, which is probably a name you don't know very much about. Kang the Conqueror.
Yeah, I think I know him, but I don't know
he's a very powerful villain, and he's a big Avengers villain. Like, he's pretty much solely an Avengers villain. He's a time-traveling conqueror. He has mastery over time, and he literally goes through time conquering planets. Like, and he's a big fucking deal in the comic books. He is a big bad, BBEG, big bad evil guy. Like, he's no joke to be fucked around with in the comic books. But beyond the comic books, he hasn't really gotten a lot of exposure. He hasn't been in any of the cartoon series throughout the years. Maybe once or twice, like in a more obscure one. But I think he actually just got casted. Like, they just casted him for something. I saw a news report about it recently. I'll have to look it up and remember that for the next time we do a comic book one. But they just casted Kang the Conqueror in one of the movies, so it could be that maybe they're just building him up as to be like a one movie bad guy, like they did with Mandarin, because they did Mandarin wrong. They did a lot of the villains. I mean, a lot of the villains they did do right, but a lot of the villains they did real wrong.
Yeah.
I'll say what I'm really interested in. I'm really interested in Black Widow to see how well they do Taskmaster. Taskmaster is a very good villain.
Is that who's going to be in Black Widow movie?
Yeah, that's the villain of Black Widow is Taskmaster.
That'll be interesting to see. Yeah, that will be interesting to see. That will be very interesting.
Yeah, that's the big bad guy for Black Widow is Taskmaster, so that's going to be real good to see.
Yeah, that'll be interesting. And they already set up Hawkeye. If they want to turn Hawkeye into a female, his daughter, they could easily...
Kate Bishop, absolutely.
Advance some years in the Marvel Universe and then... have her be...
Yep, they showed him showing
her
how to teach.
You know about Jeremy Renner? Is he still under contract with Marvel, or is he done too now?
I think he might be done. I haven't heard anything about a long-term contract with him, especially because I think his storyline's been all wrapped up. I don't see him coming back.
Yeah, no, me neither, really. I mean, they did fine. He did a great job as Hawkeye. He was a great Hawkeye.
And I think with the whole family
and
thing,
that's
going
what I was
Ronin.
thinking. That you're pretty much done. So we lost Iron Man. We lost Captain America. Hawkeye is probably also done.
Yep. Black Widow's gone.
Mark Ruffalo, Black Widow. Mark Ruffalo is still Hulk.
Still
and
around.
Chris Hemsworth is still Thor. That's the original Avengers. Mark Ruffalo, he's probably going to still be Hulk yet? Or did you not heard anything
I honestly haven't heard too much about him. I mean, Hulk is pretty much immortal, as is Banner, so, I mean... As far as I know, he's going to be sticking around, but I guess we're just going to have to see if he's in the next Avengers or not.
Yeah, because, I mean, he kind of got injured with the whole...
He did definitely get injured. So... He's in Professor Hulk mode, so he's constantly hulked out. Yep. I don't know how you do a movie like that. Like, I don't know how he carries a solo Hulk movie.
I don't know that he does a solo movie, no. Yeah. But could he still be in an Avengers or something like that, maybe?
Absolutely. I could see him doing that, and as far as I know, Ruffalo doesn't have a whole lot of other movie, franchises going on, so I'm sure he'd always be down to make some money every now and then. So I see Ruffalo sticking around for a bit here and there, popping in from time to time when they need a Hulk. I see Hemsworth being just as deeply involved in 10 years as he is now in the last 10 years. And Doctor Strange, I see Doctor Strange, he's going to be a big part.
And Cumberbatch, I don't know, I keep hearing it both ways.
Batch, I believe, is how he pronounces
Cumberbatch,
it.
So he...
And you got Tom Holland as Spider-Man, so...
Yeah, Cumberbatch as Doctor Strange is excellent, and of course he'll be replaced...
Tom Holland as Spider-Man is excellent. I see him taking a much bigger role in the Avengers movies to come.
Tom Holland is also very good. Yes, he's a very great actor. He plays a great Spider-Man. We'll have to save the Spider-Man talk for... another podcast, because there's definitely some things they messed up in that.
I could definitely see one or two things they'd be fixed, but overall I'm pretty happy with what they've done with Spidey.
No, they messed up MJ. I don't see how you mess up MJ. So,
I mean,
that's just the way it is.
I don't think they messed her up.
Yes, of course they did.
No,
just
I mean,
because
they
they
made
changed
her
every
black.
part about... No, and her whole character, dude, she's bubbly, positive.
MJ was always positive. You just hit the jackpot, Tiger.
Yeah, but
like she's always been bubbly and positive.
Did you see this MJ? This MJ's not bubbly and positive. She's cynical and rude.
I mean, I haven't seen Homecoming yet, so
yeah, no, she's
or Far From Home. That's what it is.
Yeah, Far From Home.
I haven't seen Far From Home.
In Homecoming, she was not bubbly.
She was a
Mary
high school
Jane
student, and I mean, she was in the background the entire. We'll get into this in the next one.
Yep. All right. Well, thank you for joining us for episode. We're on episode what, Curtis?
Four, Connor. You're on episode 4.
That's why I just did that on purpose because he had to remind me earlier. So I wanted him to finish it off too.
Sure, you did.
This concludes episode 4, the Marvel Initiative. Stay tuned. Next week I'll have another one probably next week and next weekend. I should hopefully have some more up. Thank you for tuning in, and drop a comment, share, hit the like button, and see you next time.
See you next time.